DJ Vicious.
What's going on?
See how I fucking threw you to the wolves right there? We're ready. What have you been up to? I see a new track was released recently.
Yeah. Been promoting a new artist. I mean, not new artist, but the artist has been with the group for a long time. Master D.
Master D?
Yeah, so last 3 years, that's basically what we've been doing. We're trying to carve out a new niche, new market. So that's what I've been working with him on it, managing his career, really.
What kind of niche we talking about here?
Well, look, when we were the group, we were focusing on like the South Asian market. So we're talking about India, Pakistan, those type of markets with that Indian fusion kind of music. Did that for a good 10 years. And then after that, took a break. And one of the guys in the group, Master D, was always like, yo, I want to try a new market because he's originally from Bangladesh. So he's like, I want to do this new market and this and that. So I said, you know what, send me some tracks. I heard it. And I'm like, for me, music is all about universal, right? So if I'm feeling it, I mean, you're listening to like Latin music or whatever it is. You're like, yeah, I know what he's saying.
But I like it.
But I like it, right? So that's my vision with him. So I'm like, listen, you give me a hit record. If it's in your language or if it's in Bengali or whatever it is, as long as it hits the record, we can promote it, So we've been doing that for the last 3 years, and it's picking up, man. It's picking up.
Is it a hit with the ladies? Are people vibing to it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, listen, it's so funny because our fans in India or that part of the world, it's all guys. So, I mean, there are females there, but like when I look at my Facebook stats and you're just like, wow, this is crazy. I mean, it's normal, but then when I read an article, interview with Enrique Iglesias, and he's super popular in India, and he was just like, yo, I did this major concert, and he goes, I'm so used to just women going crazy for me, but he goes, I was there, and it was just like 90% guys going nuts for me.
Throwing their boxers on
Yeah.
stage.
So that's when I realized, like, oh shit, maybe he's right. So now you realize that you're like, yeah, it's a hardcore. Like guys are more vocal than females out in India and stuff. But when we were touring in North America, it don't matter. Like it was just all women. So
isn't that interesting?
Yeah,
well, it
very
does make sense though. What are these?
Yeah, I guess you want to show they're more conservative, but they're really not. But they just
culturally.
Culturally.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, no, I'm not that type of girl.
Would it be bad if like 800 women would show up at a concert like that? Would it be looked upon as not a good thing?
I don't think so. It's just that they'll be more, they'll be more like quieter, tamer, or whatever it is. Just want to show like, they have class kind of thing,
They're going to be like, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, very good.
Great track, Latin sir.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a little different. I mean, but if you go into cities like Mumbai or anything like that, I mean, it's funny because everyone has a distorted view, but
Right.
Mumbai is like New York City. Like, when I went there like 8 years ago, I was like, holy crap, this is like way advanced than what I thought it was going to be, So
Really?
Yeah.
Ah, look at that. Look at that shit. My buddy Homer did a whole trip, and he went all around India. He said the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says there's a place in India that you don't think you're in India, he goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been like looking at pictures lately and I'm like, what? That's in Mumbai? I'm like, that's crazy. I mean,
What about the videos? I saw, I haven't checked out the new ones where you shot them, but I remember you were going down different places. You're like, no, we can't just film a video in one fucking city. We have to film a beach scene here.
Yeah.
And here. Seems like a waste of money.
you see, so look, this is how I envision music. Like for me, when I grew up, Park X.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I'm from. I mean, you come here as an immigrant, you look at the realities, you see what's out there. I mean, I got influenced by urban music, house music, and you're watching videos like Puff Daddy back in those days. I'm talking about like the 90s, when he'd go crazy, explosions, and you're watching that, you're like, wow, is this a music video or is this a movie? So like those are the type of things that kind of influence me. So I started off DJing, and then when I met Master D, this was way back, and we met him in Park X too. We used to do records together and do some mashups. But when we started getting more serious and we got our first Indian record deal, I was just like, yo, like, if we're going to do a video, it's got to be crazy. And they were just like, why? I mean, you compare videos out there, and it's just like, okay, whatever. It's a Indian dude with a camcorder. And they didn't really care about that. For them, it was just like, oh, the music is good, so let's do it. But I said, we want to come out as entertainment. That's really what I wanted to do, right? And the market in UK was huge. Like, there's a huge Indian music market out there, whereas North America, it just didn't exist. So I was like, yo, we gotta put North America on the map. We gotta show who's who. And, I mean, our first record deal that we got is crazy. We're talking about advances back in the days. Like we got a record deal and it was like, okay, here's $20,000 advance. And this is like, remember, this is a label in India. So paying me in rupees, it's worth 20,000. That's like,
what is that? 8 million rupees? What is that?
I don't know, man. I was just like, yo, it just got to be 20,000 USD.
As
and
long
that's,
as long as it translates this, I don't care.
yeah, exactly. So, you take that money and we ended up like, okay, we contacted an agency and we're like, yo, we want to shoot a 35 millimeter music video. And everyone else was shooting like camcorder stuff, So the guys in the group were like, yo, you sure you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, man, it's got to be big.
We're reinvesting this money in ourselves right now in this fucking video.
Exactly. So I'm like, it's either got to be big or just let's not do it, And I always stuck with that motto. And, like the first video, it was kind of hard in the sense like, dropping like, I was like, what, 19, 20 years old, dropping $20,000 in music video. But again, you think you're like, yo, I'm Puff Daddy.
I'm going to make this back. Don't worry.
Yeah, it was rough. But in the same time, it paid off big time. Because when the video came out and like we sent it out to TV stations and stuff, they're like, yo, who are these kids? I mean, everyone's like, yo, they're from the UK. And then we were like, nah, they're not from the UK. They're from Canada. Like, Canada?
Fucking Park X.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it was really cool to see that, going into that market, changing it, putting that quality. And then every time we dropped a video, people were like, yo, these guys are going to drop a crazy video. So yeah, it's a little expensive. But what's crazy now, you fast forward 12 years now, it's all content. So like I was already like thinking, I'm like, yo, content has to be quality. And if you're doing something, do it right. And that's always been my motto. Anyone new coming to me, upcoming artists, guys in my group or whatever it is, it's like, listen, if you're going to do it right. And if you don't have the cash flow now, save up and then do it right, Because, I mean, I always say, like, first impression is the last impression you're going to get. And it's crazy because now when you're in that scene, like, fast forward 12 years, there's artists doing quality videos. And it's crazy. Like, I'm not going to go in there and brag and say, hey, we were the first guys doing it and stuff. But it is that, Like, now the level of that industry, it's crazy. Like, you're like, yo, there's some serious... Like, now it's Puff Daddy videos in, like,
that's what
Indian
I noticed.
Markets, So
everywhere.
Even
you look at these, I don't know what's in the water here. I don't know why a lot of us from Park X went into the arts and started doing crazy shit. Because it's interesting. We had zero resources.
Yep.
That we just start, we're like, fuck, I like doing this. I'm just going to make something work,
It's crazy because every time I drive by, my parents live in this neighborhood, right? So every time I drive by here, I'm like, man, this is where it all started, Like, it's cool because you come back and you're like, man, I go to my room and I'm like, man, the late nights there on the computer, calling people. And my parents were like, yo, go to sleep. Like, well, you're like up till 2 o'clock in the morning. And it's like crazy. And like a couple of days ago, I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to go into my emails. I started searching some stuff. And I was like, I see this product placement proposal that I did. And I look at the year and I was like, yo, I was like 23 years old when I did that. And then, like, I called my friend, like, yo, what's 23-year-olds doing today? It's like a crazy
They're complaining. They're complaining their feelings.
Or they're Snapchatting,
They're saying you're using the wrong pronoun.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, how's it going? Whoa, don't assume that I'm going.
Yeah.
Calm down.
So it's crazy. I mean, I'm not going to say, like, we were poor, but it's, like, in the same time, like, that you want to do better.
Get something more out of it.
Exactly.
We're never content. I know we were never like, all right, this is what it is.
Yeah. It's funny because even today, like, yeah, I'm happy. I'm doing great for myself. But it's funny, like, I tell myself, I'm like, yo, man, don't say that to yourself. And people are like, why? I'm like, because if I do that, I feel like I'm going to just be, okay, I'm comfortable.
Never.
And it's good that way. And every time I feel like, like I was talking about that market that we were in, the South Asian market, it's good now. It's a very good market. But at the same time, I'm like, I felt like, okay, you know what? We've done what we got to do. And at the same time, I'm like, look, if I got to do video now in that market, it's like I got to get French Montana. I got to get all kinds of crazy, or helicopters, explosions. I mean, it's crazy. But at the same time, I'm like, well, I don't know. Is it really something that I really want to do? Or challenge myself and go to the new market, and that's what we're doing right now.
What do you think? Because right now the music game is blowing up in a weird way. Like the rap game, we grew up listening to a lot of rap. It was very different back then. Now I'm looking at, especially out of Chicago, and a lot of young guys, garbage music,
Yeah.
just garbage, but high production value in the videos. Okay.
Yep.
Now their names are stupid, like Hitachi 52 and fucking
Little
they're yelling-
Dicky.
Yeah, no, Little Dicky's funny at least, and Little Dicky, I like him. He's a quality writer.
Oh, yeah.
You know. But these other kids are coming out, they're like 18, 16 years old. They don't know anything about life.
Yeah.
And then they're just yelling, AIDS Squad, like
Yeah.
weird stuff. Like, what
Gucci
is
gang,
this?
Gucci gang, Gucci gang.
Just dumb.
Yeah.
However, like these music videos, some of them off the hook.
Yeah.
Off the hook, they all learned, like I did, tutorials online on how to edit this
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. I mean, it's crazy now because before it used to be like, okay, it's cool to have a video which will complement your content.
But the song had to matter. It had to be good.
Yes.
Now, I see these videos are getting millions of hits. I'm like, oh, this must be a great song. Garbage. It's literally shit on fire in a video for 5 minutes. That's what it is.
Yeah, but again, there's a lot of fakeness in that industry too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Buying views and bots and all that stuff. So, I mean,
But it's perception versus reality, right? So
totally.
if they don't have the perception that they're doing well, nobody's going to pay attention.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, they've switched the tables on everybody. You need to work hard to create a perception instead of working hard and just showing it and being like, hey, this is quality. Look at it. People won't look at it, even if it's the best thing in the world.
Oh, yeah.
If they don't feel like eyes are on it.
That's again because there's just like so much content out there. Like where it's like fast food is what I call it. Like there's just so much content, which you're right. But in the same time, like, I can say from my market, there's a lot of, artists that come out every week. There's this label. I won't name them, but like every week there's an artist coming out. And I'm like, yo, how can you guys get like 1 million views? No one even knows who the hell you are. But it's okay because I talked to a lot of veteran artists too. And I'm just like, yo, what's going on? It's like, it's really fucking up the industry because, like for me, I have a new artist that comes out. I'm happy if he's got 250 organic views, 250,000 organic views, 300,000. One video is 90,000 organic views. It's okay because it's organic. But these guys that come out, it's like 1 million views. And yeah, you're going to have somebody be like, yo, how come you ain't at 1 million views? But it's okay for me because I look at it as a long term. And those guys ain't even touring. And even if they do tour, they're like 10 people at the show. And you're never going to get booked.
Because you know what they do? They, I've also noticed, so a lot of labels now have, they used to do, remember the Vivo, so under label. So they used to do, so if you have a label, each one of your guys is going to have his own channel. Now they'll just keep it on the same so that you already have the 1 million subscribers.
Yeah.
So even if you're launching somebody new, they get notified, they go look at the video, even if the video is garbage, because you've built such a big network, they're going to look at the video,
Correct.
give you the view, right? But then that guy's shit. Instead of releasing a new mediocre garbage rapper every week, they should take the good ones, invest in them, focus on and let them grow. But they're just, it's like throwing shit and seeing what sticks on the wall, right? They're just trying to see.
And the other views too, because labels are like scrambling. So for them, what you just said right now, they're just aggregating it to like one channel. It's because they just want to monetize views. They're like, yo, we're just gonna get all the ad spots you can get on this video. I don't care if it's good, if it's bad. It's just content, constant content, and people are gonna come and watch it. I'm gonna make ads on it, So, yeah, it's horrible. I mean, that's the industry we're in, but gotta live with it. And I mean, if you look at it, I've been doing this for almost 14 years now, and like I don't leave that motto. You do evolve with different things. Like you understand, like it's all about videos. It's all about streaming now. No one buys iTunes or any of that stuff. So you gotta shift your model, but at the same time, always keep your motto, which is like, if you're gonna do something, do it right, do it quality, and hope for the best.
For the streaming, where's the money at in there? So let's say, for example, your guys, if they're on Spotify, how do you directly recoup some money off being on Spotify?
Honestly, to tell you the truth, it's really rough. Very
That's what
rough.
I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, like when we were in iTunes, when iTunes was selling, records, you see like, oh, that's good. The revenue is very good. But then when that whole transition happened with Spotify, you're like, oh my God, like what's going on? But see, this is the unfortunate part. Like you either continue having an old mentality or you realize like this is where the future is going to be and you got to shift over. So
but how are you going to make money? Like right now, it was easy in the iTunes days because I remember when I was releasing videos when there was like, people buy the video straight up. That's it. You made your money.
Yeah.
iTunes, obviously, Apple takes their cut. Now with the streaming, is there like gates? So it's like, okay, if you get 1 million hits, if it's streamed but for this many minutes, you'll get this much money. Is that how they decide it?
Not really. It's really based on the type of user. So really, at the end of the day, like we're gonna end up talking about Spotify, but I mean Spotify has a lot more freemium guys than they actually have premium guys. So their goal is to really get people to actually pay.
I'm paying. I've been on that fucking premium for a while now.
But a lot of people don't. They're just like, well, I'm still doing my duty as like representing the artist, but in the same time, you get pennies when it's a free artist or when it's a free tier, right? So yeah, I mean, you have to hit.
Do they have commercials?
Yes,
I don't even know anymore.
On the free one, on the free one, they have commercials.
I hate
on the premium, they don't. But I mean, yeah, when you hit maybe 4 million spins, then it's decent. But I mean, it's still not as. Imagine 4 million on iTunes. It's like you're going platinum.
Yeah.
Now it's like you gotta get like almost, I think, 10 million streams to consider yourself platinum. Like
really,
it's crazy. Like, but people are not. They're not really completely like the way I see independent scene. They're not only focused on streaming. It's all about monetizing, marketing, and endorsements, and touring is still the number one thing. So
touring, that's where everybody makes their money. Apparently.
Everyone makes their money there.
Are these deals that screwed up still for the artist in music? At least comedy is a whole different story, but in music, is it still, if they get signed to a label, that means jack shit? The label's gonna front them, but they're just gonna have to. No, they won't even front them anymore. Because I remember they used to give you a good advance, but that shit all goes back and then some, because they'll give you an advance, but then they're also going to charge you for whatever fucking hotel you stayed at, whatever food you ate.
Well, look, what
you end up taking home $800.
What artists never understood about advance, it's a loan. So it's not like you take that money, you buy yourself a car and a house. Like that's what people used to, like, these artists used to do. And I mean, because they were so confident, like, yo, I want to sell 1 million records. But if they don't, what ends up happening, they end up getting shelved. And then what happens is they have a 3 or 4 album contract, and the first album flops. Label's gonna be like, well, hey, buddy, do the second and third album on your own cost.
Oh, fuck.
So that's where you get screwed, and then they can't afford it, and now they're shelved for 3 years. They can't put anything out because they're stuck with that label. So that's what used to happen to a lot of artists, and that's where they're like, oh man. So advances don't exist. Like, unless you're Drake, unless you're like really big time, a lot of the OGs in the industry still probably do get advances. But all the new kids aren't getting any advances.
There's no guarantee that they're gonna get that money.
No, but the way the formula is now is, our labels don't really look out for artists anymore. They're just like, okay, who's the hottest next trend? And like, for example, if they're already buzzing, they're already getting a lot of traction, you're already getting some local radio play and stuff like that. It's crazy because I see artists that have like 2-3 million views already on the video, and then label still takes that on and then re-releases it, and they still make money on it, because they're going to redo the video, they're going to make a lot more views on it, and they're going to just make money on streaming and stuff like that.
Is satellite radio big for you guys in the music industry? Does it matter right now if you're getting satellite plays?
Not really. I mean, I think satellite industry is hurting a little bit because I think both of them, they had merged a long time ago. But I mean, not really. I think everyone now is, because the thing with satellite, it's either in your car and where else? I mean, not everyone's got Spotify. It's mobile phones now. Like, that's really what it is. So if you're not on those platforms, you have a hard time getting new artists, So it's funny because it's all about Spotify playlist or this playlist, and try to get in as many views as you can on YouTube. And it's really YouTube and streaming. That's really where it's at right now.
Well, that's why I adapted and went to YouTube. We were doing an audio for a while, you remember?
Oh, yeah.
And then everybody was just yelling at me. You're 10 years too late. Get some fucking video going.
Yeah.
So I'm like, shit, I don't know how, but I'll try. And then
It's crazy if you watch like Breakfast Club and all these guys.
Yeah, now they're all, when I see the videos, it's so weird to me because I used to hear the audio clips, right? So when I see them now, it's odd. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, they're on YouTube and they have these clips, but they're good.
They're entertaining.
It's entertaining. And I did notice that there are, as much as there are a lot of podcast listeners that like, kind of like the old traditional talk radio, they like to listen to it. Dude, there's a whole new demographic of people who love watching these kind of interviews, but with the video. They want to see the person.
Yeah, they want to see the interaction.
They want to see the
They want to see like Birdman leaving the studio.
Yeah, do you remember that shit? So I get them. I completely understood it, and I said, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to do it too. It gives me some, because, I like working on shit.
Yeah,
It gives me something to work on. Plus, it's fun now because it also forced me to build like a high-end studio with good microphones, all that stuff.
Looks amazing.
So I said, fuck it. We'll do it. And I have noticed that there's different types of people, not just the same people that want to see it in video, but just different people who are like, oh, what is this? Who's this guy? Who the fuck's he interviewing?
People like discovery now. I mean, like that's what it is. Before you're like, oh, it's got me on radio. You got to be on TV. It's all discovery.
Radio's dead, man.
Yeah, radio. I mean, what's
Have
funny,
you turned on the fucking radio?
Yeah, it's all the same tracks over and over. Yeah,
and even the people who are on there talking a lot of the times, just not entertaining. You could feel the phoniness, like they're all reading.
Yeah.
if you're you, people end up liking you and listen to radio. But if it's the same fake voice all the time, like, whoa, welcome to 97.7.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy because like I upgraded my phone plan so I can get more gigs, so I can stream my own music. Because it's crazy. Because I'm like, man, I just get so fed up of radio, and I'm like, okay, there's only so much Ed Sheeran I can keep listening to.
I used to be a fan of it. I was like, yo, this guy's good. Not anymore. Now I hear him. Also, I had the radio on for 2 hours. I must have heard that song Havana 9 times. Like, why do you keep playing the same fucking song? You have a library of all these songs. You can play classics if you want.
No, what I want. You know why, right?
No, I don't know how it works.
So basically, labels are technically, I wouldn't even say paying for it, but they're paying these labels to the radio stations to play the tracks. But the way it works is it's formulated on a advertising revenue. So it's like, hey, I'm gonna spend money on advertising on your radio station. Oh, really? Okay, but these are the tracks you gotta play. Because before, way back, it used to be straight up like, yo, I'm gonna pay the PD. I'm gonna be like, yo, play my record like over and over. Remember when Master P held one of the PDs like hostage?
I heard
with
of
his
it.
gun?
Yeah.
He's like, yo, you better play my shit. So that's back in the days, but now it's like they found out like, oh, that's illegal. It's bribery.
Oh yeah, that's very illegal.
Yeah,
they
so-
just found out holding a gun to somebody's head and force them to play your music is illegal.
So now it's kind of turned into like advertising. So it's like, oh, it's
But it's
advertising.
fake.
Yeah.
What are the advertising? They put commercials on.
Yeah, they put commercials for like new albums that are coming out, or like, you know, when you hear an artist on the air, it's like, hey, you know,
listen to this station if you want to hear me 9 times an hour. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's all paid for. So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, you're just shoving it down my throat over and over and over. Labels want that because they want to get the return on it. But nowadays, everyone's just like, you know, like finding music online and Spotify, or just like randomly finding something on YouTube. And it's funny because I do that. I go to YouTube every day. I just refresh the page. I'm like, oh, who's this new guy? And I listen to it and I watch the video. It's funny because I'm adapting to it in the same time. And I'm like, yeah, why do I even need radio? Maybe for traffic. But other than that, like, I just put my own music. And
I do it by mistake when I forget to click on the Bluetooth button.
Yeah.
And then I just listen for a minute to see what's on. And if I keep it on too long, I get upset. I was like, you just play that. Like, I haven't been in the car that long. Why is this playing again? And then it's the fake voice that gets me. I like, you know, I like people to be normal. Just be real. Be who you are. But I'm like, okay, everybody has the same fucking voice now on radio. Everybody has the same. Come on.
It's funny because a buddy of mine said he called in once, or his wife called in once to request a song, and she asked for some song. They're like, no, but you only can choose from these 5.
Yeah, that's how requests work.
Yeah, so it's call him to request your favorite song. It's like
From this list,
because he loves the old school George Michael and stuff. So, and he's like, they're like, nah, man, you gotta choose one of these 5 songs.
Radio games change too. Everything's different.
Yeah,
Everything is different right now. They don't. I've had this discussion with other people too. Like right now, it's so much easier to get off your ass and do stuff.
Oh yeah.
But it's also hard to get noticed because there's so many people, and they're not all good. If everybody was good, it wouldn't matter. It'd be like, all right, some good people. The problem is you gotta fucking filter through all kinds of shit.
Yeah. That's very true. But in the same time, like, you know, if you continue doing good stuff, I mean, the difference is that I say this a lot of new artists too. It's like, you know, they all see it as like, oh man, you know, I just want to get like, you know, I want to have this within like a year. And
You can't do that anymore. You can't put a time frame. You just need to grind. And normally it happens at that last minute when you least expect it, when you're just about to give up.
That's when it comes in.
Yeah,
it's crazy because, like, you know, like I was consulting one of these new artists, and he's just like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I just said, look, man, I said, you can't just like expect it to be this, or just try to collaborate with this major artist, or just try to go to this major label and then it's gonna give you success. It doesn't work that way. I said, well, I'm like, I know all the labels, I know a few major artists, but I'm like, what's the point? You're nobody. Then you go sign to a major label. If you flop, that one chance you had is gone. You're never gonna come back and be like, oh, give me another deal. They're like, nah, you flopped.
You don't get multiple chances.
You don't. So I told him, like, listen to what I'm saying. Look, my own artist has been with the group for 10 years. He's got crazy fans. He toured around the world, millions of views. But he's starting a solo project, and he's still starting from the bottom. And I even told the artist, I said, like, yo, if you're going to go to this market, you're going to be starting from the bottom. Don't expect that same expectancy that you had from the group. You're going to be starting at the bottom. And it's like, you know, you have to mentally prepare and be like, yeah, that's what it is. you're gonna have the struggles. You're gonna have the struggles. I told him, man, it's been 3 years we're trying to market this market, and here you want to have it within like 6 months. So it doesn't work that way, you know. It's harder for like artists to realize that because they see, you know, either with fake views or they see other artists like, oh man, I want to be like that, which is cool. But at the same time, like every time someone comes to me and says, oh, I want to get in the music industry, I'm like, oh man. I said, you better be ready for a crazy ride, and you better have enough cash flow because it's a very, very expensive industry, you know. So, I mean, it's like a very high risk industry. So if you want to get into it, get ready for it. But when you do, the payoff is good. So that's kind of how I see it.
And his goal right now, as most artists would be, to gain enough traction to get enough people to want to go see him live.
For
and
sure.
That's where the money's at.
That's my goal. And look, within like 3 years, you know, it took some time, but now he's starting to get calls here and there. Like, you know, we were supposed to have a show in Stockholm. We're supposed to do something in Florida. So maybe it's not as crazy when we were the group. You know, within like a year and a half, you know, we were like every weekend we were in Toronto, or like we had like a 3-4 city tour. It's different, you know, because we were also new. We were pre-YouTube, so we were the first guys on YouTube. So like our views used to be like pure organic. It was crazy.
There was nobody else there. You were just fucking.
It was just us killing
like,
it.
Who are these crazy fuckers with these videos?
Exactly.
Is that a helicopter?
Yeah. So it's just like, you know, and now it's like, yeah, you got a lot of good artists. You got a lot of crazy videos. Like you said, a lot of content. So the competition's harder. So the way I shifted is like, okay, look, go in a market where it's really crap, and let's just try to elevate that, you know, and little by little, it's realizing. And the hardest part for me is that there is no outlets in some of those markets because they're very like, they're still backwards. They're just like, oh, well, we only listen to folk music. What is this type of fusion, you know, urban or whatever is this? So every day it's like you're constantly force feeding them like, hey man, you gotta play this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. It's like constantly be on their case, but it's happening. So that's kind of, you know, that's how I see it. Like it's you can apply that to anything in your life. You know, if you want to try something, it's not gonna come out easy. You just gotta keep knocking at the doors, and then one day or the other, it's gonna be like, oh shit, okay, yeah, this is happening. You know, so.
The whole knocking on the door thing, I feel like people forget about a lot because
yeah.
you know, too. For years it was the same thing. Even in comedy, when I first started, it's hard to just get regular stage time.
Yeah.
Forget getting paid to do gigs. Right? In the beginning, people don't give a shit because there's established comedians. You're not good enough.
Yeah.
There's so much that you got to go through. And I've thought about a lot. I go, fuck, man. If I had the times that it was so easy for me to give up, to be like, I'm not. If I had given up, would have never experienced all the shit that I did. I would have never got to this point. I would have never, if I had just stopped. But there was something in me, be like, no, you're a piece of shit. You don't give up. You're a cockroach. They cannot kill you.
See, and that's a very good mentality because that takes character. It takes a lot of hard work, and at the same time, like, you know, you gotta like mentally prepare yourself. And not many people are used to that. They're just
people
like,
don't
man.
like getting told that they're not good enough.
And that's because these generations, everyone's a winner.
But that's not good because
It's not.
Are we gonna? I had this discussion the other day. Are we gonna keep innovating if the innovators of our generation, okay, we're always told you can't do it, and or you can, but you have to work hard for it, right? So like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna grind.
Exactly.
Now it's completely different. Now it's okay. It's okay. Just try your best. No, there is no fail.
Here's a star for your effort.
Here's a star for your effort. You know. It's I understand for little kids. I understand you're gonna be nice. You're not gonna be like, hey, you lost the fucking game. No, you're being nice.
Well, that's how it happened for us, so.
Yeah, it's different times back then, more aggressive. For little kids, it's a different story. I'm not saying like, oh, stop giving kids participation ribbons. At a certain age, though, you have to stop giving participation because they need to learn, number one, how to compete.
Correct.
Also, they need to learn how to lose. It's not bad to lose.
Yeah, it's not bad.
There's nothing wrong with losing.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. You learn from it, and then you get better. But if you're always a winner, there is no such thing as losing. Then you can't.
You get traumatized.
You get traumatized if you really lose, but you can never grasp it.
Yeah.
It's like, what? I thought losing doesn't exist. What do you mean? That's why these kids finish university, no matter what they take. They take these fake programs like fucking women's studies or political science, all these fake stuff, and they can't get jobs with it.
Yeah.
Because they're not real things, right? And then they're surprised, like, what the fuck's happening? I thought I'd be fucking rolling in the dough.
Yeah,
in women's, what are you gonna do in women's studies if that's what you're studying?
I know. Yeah, no, totally, I agree. It's crazy because, like, you know, from what you just said, like, I remember when I was, it was like when I was 19, 20. You know, we got the first deal and we shot our video, and it's funny because the song or whatever we put out was called Two Step Bangra, and that one didn't do great in India. Like, the label was just like, hey, it's not doing good here. But it's crazy because it was exploding out here in North America and all the other markets. And I'm like, what do you
was
mean?
Yeah, what was the reason?
The thing with India back then, it was only like, it was very Bollywood focused. You know, so it was so like new age for them. They're just like, oh, the radio stations don't understand it. It's not charting. It's not doing well. But I'm like, yeah, but you gotta push it. You gotta force feed it. That you know, they're like, yeah, you know, labels are always lazy. So on our end, I was doing all the PR here in North America, UK, it was just pushing it everywhere, and it got onto mainstream radio in Toronto, and that's where it just exploded. So I was just like, you're crazy because the song is blowing up over here. We're in Toronto every weekend. So they're like, oh no, and I'm like, okay, well, whatever the case, we gotta shoot the second video, so we need to upfront. And they're like, well, no, because we're gonna consider this a flop, so we're not gonna give you an upfront for that. So here I'm sitting in the studio with the guys, and I'm just like, man, we ain't gonna get a second advance for the video. They're like, why not? The song is hot. I'm like, yeah, but not in India. And we're like, oh man,
that is a billion people market. You can't
exactly. Yeah, so I'm like, this is so messed up. Like the actual market where it's a fusion of that market is not working. It's working in North America, working in the UK, it's playing in Holland, and I'm just like, what is going on? Anyway, so at that point we're just sitting. I'm like, so like, what do we do? And I had like $10,000 saved in my bank. One of the other guys else had $10,000 saved in the bank, and we're just like, yo, what if we just drew our own video? And it was like a big step when you're 19 years old and you're taking out $10,000. That's a big deal.
That's how you went homeless. That's what happened. Just one weekend video, next weekend soup kitchen.
Yeah. But it's so funny because, like, back then, like, yeah, I had a bank account, but you had a joint with your mom. So it's like, yeah, ma, so I'm planning to take out $10,000. Like, for what? And just imagine your mom who lives in Park X, like music video. Like, what type of industry are you in?
It's like, I'm gonna murder you.
Yeah.
Take your money.
She's like, no, you're not gonna do $10,000 for that. I'm like, no, we need it. We gotta shoot. She goes, for what? I'm like, we're gonna shoot a music video. She just gave me this face. She's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. I said, I really believe that we need to shoot the second video. She's like, you could take $10,000, invest in real estate. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I need the 10.
Real estate is for suckers, Mom.
Yeah.
The rap game is where it's at right now.
So she's like, look, if you really think this is worth it, then take it out.
I like that.
So I was like, fine. And I'm like, man, maybe like I'm gonna get beats out.
Just flops.
Yeah. So we took out the 10,000, we put it together, and we shot a second video. And the first record that was doing really well, MTV was MTV, and MTV didn't want to play. They're like, oh, it's too. You remember when Beware of the Boys from Punjabi MC was hot?
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, that phase is done. And I'm just like, yo, it's not a phase. We have no Jay-Z on it, no nothing. It's charting on radio. It's like a top 7 record, They're like, oh no, we're not gonna play it. Like, yeah. So I was like, damn, talking about Doors. So I'm like, all right, I already have the contact. Second video we shot. And that song started kicking off, was doing well, sent it to MTV. MTV took it.
Oh, there we go.
So like it's the same thing of like saying, hey, well, it didn't work, so you just leave it.
Yeah, that's what people do. That's what people do.
So we did the second video, and man, after that second video, shit started snowballing. So people were like, yo, these guys did the shit. So they started picking up. Shot the third video again, and what happened after the second video, we started touring. So we got some cash flow, reinvested in the third video, and that's when it just started kicking off, So the first year, though, we were in debt, man. We were like in $50K debt. But you're playing all over. We made sure everything was on point, marketing, everything, quality photos, everything. And people were like, yo, man, you're rolling in cash. I'm like, not really. We're in debt. But it was cool.
It looks like we're not.
But after that, it just started kicking off, and it was great. And, and then we got to tour around the world. Went to a place called Suriname. And I was just like, is this a Nigerian scam city or something?
Yeah, what the fuck?
So I call my manager. I'm like, yo, where is this place? Is this in Africa or something? He's like, no, man, it's in South America. And I look it up on the map. It's right next to Guyana. I'm like, I have no fans there.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, and then I'm just like, listen, they're going to book flights. They're going to book for the show. They're going to pay us to do the show. Let's just do it. So we go there, and I'm just like, yo, there's going to be no one in this show,
and you're going to get kidnapped. This is where your organs get transplanted.
So we're like, we're going to get kidnapped or whatever. So we go, and they literally rented out a spot like Place Laval, like the Bell Center.
Yeah.
Half of the Bell Center. I'm just like, oh, my God, this is way too many people for us. Like, I always joke. I was joking. I'm like, yo, how many people? 1,000 people? They're like, yeah, maybe 1,000. And the crazy sound. So this is the funniest part. The 16-year-old was a sound man. I swear to God, he was the best sound man we've ever had around all the places we tour. You know, you go to like shows in like DC, whatever. You got these older guys. Yo, man, I was with Bon Jovi and this and that, and they always fuck up the sound. This kid was 16 years old
from some fucking village.
Yeah, some village in Suriname, and he was on point. And I'm just like, yo, man, I gotta take you on tour. But anyways, so you know, we were like, okay, we went back to the hotel. We chilled, and there was a bunch of opening acts from Holland and things like that. So we were the main act. So we're like, okay, we're chilling backstage, and they start talking in Dutch. We're like introducing a bunch of opening acts. And you hear a lot of people in the backstage. So you're like, oh man, this is really gonna be 1,000 people. Then coming right before the last act, you know, they're like, oh, are you ready for the Bilz Kashif? Dude, this monster roar. I was just like, nah, that must be 2,000 people. Dude, we come out on stage, people going buck wild, and it was like at least 6,000 people.
Get the fuck
I was
out
like,
of here.
what is this, man?
That's the population of 3 of those villages.
Yeah, man. And the funny part is they all speak Dutch, but when this music comes on, they all knew like the Hindi and the Punjabi and the English and the lyrics like on point. And you're just like, yo, this is when you realize music is so universal. And then I found out how they became fans of us is because one of our songs, our songs were playing in Holland on a radio station called Fun X. And they tune into that. And then that's how we built a fan base. I was like, wow. Because they speak Dutch. I listen to Dutch radio. And I was just like, yo, this is crazy. And that's kind of how you open up your mind. And you're just like, yo, you hate the internet, but in the same time, it's good for you. So, you know, it's great. I remember I grew up like, I was like, yo, man, fuck the internet.
Yeah, fuck the internet.
Yeah, fuck the streaming. You know, it's killing. But then you're like, yo, bitch, stop that shit. Like, you gotta adapt. You gotta realize, like, this is a curse, but it's a blessing in the same time. So that's kind of how we took it.
It's funny that you said the internet. So I started doing, because now I'm fucking around. Now I'm like, all right, I have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I'm putting this stuff up. There's an entire studio here. We got fucking cameras, all kinds of shit. So I started putting up, we started doing a news show. I posted an episode. I don't know if you saw it, but I'll show it to you later. And within the first day, I just posted it up there. I had a question about haunted houses on it, right? I was just making fun. And some fucking real estate agent commented. So answering questions, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, it's so random. So you just put up there and then
Hashtag real estate.
Yeah, then somebody's like, oh, let me tell you how it works. If there's a fucking haunting, they don't have to disclose it. And I was like,
what?
Why? Like, you watched the whole video, you went in the middle of the video, you're like, real estate, that's my game. And
Yeah, but that's the internet, right? It allows so many people to be pros.
But it is amazing, though. I laughed because I was like, it's so crazy that somebody from, it could be another city, another state, the other side of the world is like, I'm going to chime in here. I could help these guys out. Same thing, you know how I learned how to fucking video edit and do all that shit? People.
Some
tutorials in India, bro. These guys have everything. I follow this one guy. His name is
bootleg
Anvish.
software?
His name is Anvish Patel, I think. Anvish something. Fucking guy's amazing.
Oh, yeah?
Amazing.
Check him out.
Amazing. I'll send you the
Yeah.
teaches me everything.
Wow. Yeah, but it's crazy.
11 minutes. I'm fucking Steven Spielberg.
His URL is like how to be Steven Spielberg in 10 minutes.
Such a cool dude. And you know what he does? Because he has a very thick accent.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't understand what he's saying.
So you rewind it every time.
No, even better. What he did, that's why he's winning over there. That's why he gets a robot to talk for him, but the robot fucking sounds good, right?
Wow.
So
I can't wait to watch this video.
But he knows. He's like, they're going to have trouble understanding me, but they're going to understand the fucking robot. The robot will work for me.
He's got AI, man.
This guy's so fucking brilliant. At first, I thought he just had a wacky voice. I was like, this is a silly Indian guy. And then I realized another video he was explaining. He's like, no, that's a robot because you can't understand anything I'm saying. I'm like, oh, you're right, I can't.
Man, this guy's amazing. I gotta check this guy out.
Some people know how to use the internet and how to use YouTube properly.
Yeah.
And these tutorials are a big thing right now.
Oh, yeah.
School, I'm telling you, I've learned more off YouTube in the past month than I would have taken a year or two class. Because I could go at my own pace. I'm advanced in something. I'll continue going that. I could rewind, stop, whatever I want to do. Whereas in school, you have to learn what they're teaching you. Yeah. It might be something you already know. It might be something that doesn't apply to you at all, but you have to go through those motions. Whereas YouTube, fucking call up Anvish. You're like, look, I want to know how to do this intro. He's like, I got you, bro. 15 minutes.
Anvish, my man.
It's amazing. In 20 minutes, I'm creating 3D animations and shit. Fucking great.
Yeah. Talking about school is so true. Like, I remember when I was in university, I still everyone like, yo, man, university is nothing.
That's what I said.
Everyone was like, what are you talking about? You need it. I'm like, I said, look, you need that piece of paper if you want a good job. But other than that, it's all about experience, all about life. It's all about everything, you know? And people are like, no, I know what you're talking about. I'm like, all right. And everyone's like, comes out of university, I want to get an MBA. I want to get 6 figures of salary. And it's like, man, there's a lot of people that don't have MBAs and they have 6-figure salaries. So it's like, what are you trying to, you know, that's the thing. People get brainwashed. I mean, I come from Indian background.
Well,
so it's all about
the same thing.
Yeah. All about like, get a degree. Get a degree. In
anything, just get a fucking degree. When I got into university, I wasn't doing comedy. I was working full time. I was in video games.
Yeah.
So what I did is I was moving up, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to take a chance, lose my job. I'll do it at night.
Yeah.
So I was working full time in the day and then going to school at night, which was a terrible idea. It makes you tired, but at least I was doing it. And I was in history. I only did it because I like history. I knew there was no career option. But everything I ever did when I went to electronic arts, anything I did in video games had nothing to do with my university, whatever I learned in university, nothing. They didn't give a shit about it because I was good at my job. I was good with my experience. Any job then in comedy, same thing. I didn't apply history in fucking comedy.
Yeah,
but nothing ever connected. Nobody ever asked me, let me see your diploma. And if they did, they're like, history.
Yeah.
Like, what does that have to do with anything? But it's such a wacky thing. I could have not done it, saved some money.
Yeah. But I think it's a lot of times it's that creative side, you know, like, you know, everyone's hustling, you're hustling in comedy. It's like, you know, if you keep pushing yourself to try doing something better, you're going to find a way to do it. I mean, that's just kind of how
unless you're a doctor. Like I think that's what you need, like engineers, doctors, for that kind of stuff. Of course. You go to school for that.
Yeah. And we're bridge breaking down.
So I want to be a manager. I'm going to management classes.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, get on the job.
Yeah.
Get managed for a couple of years. You learn what they're doing. You know, just get the experience and you become good at it. You know, if you have a passion for it. Any book, like if I had the choice, if I'm a CEO and I have to hire a person to manage, okay? And there's a kid fresh out of school, but he's the fucking best in his class, right? He knows all the theory about how to manage teams, motivate them, all that. And then I have you, who doesn't have a university degree, has nothing, but you've been managing teams since you were fucking 20 years old. You've been working. I am 110% every time picking you, the guy who's done it before.
Yeah.
Not the kid who read a book, and then when he actually deals with people, he's like,
let me open my book.
I need you to, I'm sorry, I need you to, get the fuck out of here.
Right? Yeah, totally. It's all about experience, man. It's just like, it's funny because like when I started out too in music, like I was doing everything myself, like everything. I was just like going to go crazy. And at a point, you know, with experience, just like, you know what? I started reading a lot of books online and articles online. They're like, hey man, you want to move forward in life, or you want to try to succeed or be a leader, gotta learn to find out, okay, where are your strengths, and then delegate the rest. And it's funny because then you take that and you apply it to real life, right? Yeah. So, you know, like there's some stuff in artwork and stuff, I could do it. I can use Photoshop. I'm like, nah, man, I'll pay someone $150, $200, $400
and get it done way better.
Get it done. Get it done, less headache, just to get it done on this schedule, and you focus on building relationships, building on marketing, and that's how it is now. Like, that's just kind of how I built it, because otherwise I go crazy, you know? So that's how it is, man.
Me too. I went with the Gary Vaynerchuk model.
Oh, yeah.
Invest in yourself. That's what I'm like, shit, man. It's me. Like, anything I've done, right? I've been selling myself, basically.
Correct.
No matter what it was. So I'm like, fuck that, man. I'm going to reinvest in myself.
Well, you have to.
You have to.
You have to. I mean, there's like this whole wave now of, you know, people making a living of doing stuff online.
Yeah.
You know, YouTube, influencers, Instagram, all that stuff. Like, it's crazy. Some of these guys are making more than a doctor, for example. So or a surgeon. You know, it's like I was reading an article a couple of days ago. It's like, I think he's 8 years old. He unboxes gifts. He makes $1 million a month.
Yeah, I saw that kid. Dude, these I didn't know what a YouTube influencer was until 2014. Do you remember when I had to go down to the American Music Awards and all that shit?
Yeah.
At the Hollywood Film Awards, there was like a group of fucking kids, and they were taking pictures. I was like, who the fuck are these? Right? So I'm hanging around there, and I thought I was the cool one. Yeah. Right? I'm like, hey, Gerard Butler, here. We're like, this and that. And there's these fucking kids there. And I'm like, yo, that's like a 15-year-old girl. What the fuck is she doing here?
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
I've never seen her in a movie. And like, oh, those are the influencers. We invite influencers. I'm like, you invite what the fuck is that? Like, oh, they're big on YouTube. They do, like, what do? They have the talents. They fucking do the splits, some shit. It's like, no, they're, they cover songs. So they don't even write their own songs. They just sing other people's songs. Yeah, exactly. And I've tried to listen. Not even that good. The originals are better. And they do little videos and stuff. And like, you invited these fucking kids who make internet videos to the fucking red carpet? Yeah. I'm not that special anymore. You know, but it was so weird that they were, and that's when I got introduced to that, and then Vine and all that, and I found out that there's this whole subculture of kids becoming super famous on the internet and then banking on it too. They were making crazy cash
crazy money
for random stuff. They're doing commercials in the States, online, all kinds of things.
Yeah, for sure. Like there's actually two comedian artists in the South Asian market. One is Just Rain, and I think I've sent you videos a long time ago about him. He has some funny stuff, and then you had Lily Singh. Lily Singh
is huge now.
Huge. So it's like it's crazy because you know
Lily Singh. This is fucking hilarious. When I thought about it this summer when I was in Europe, I was in Greece, in the airport in Greece,
and you
Lily Singh's book.
Oh,
right there. I was like, get the fuck out of here. There's no do I tweet this at her? Like what? Became fucking huge as a book, and they translated. I was like, get the fuck out of here. There's no way it's happening.
The craziest part was like when she started, exploding a lot on YouTube, and it's funny. I was on the computer one day, I was watching TV, and there was an ad for Just for Laugh in Montreal, and she was on the bill.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how did Lily Singh get on the bill? And then I went online and just checked it up. And she's got this whole tour lined up. And I've never even heard about it. And it's all promoted through her social media on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And she's in Bangkok. She's in India. She's in this. She's in that. I was like, wow. That's when I started realizing there's this whole subculture of like artists or entrepreneurs or whatever. Like they doing things without a mainstream perspective. And
Lily Singh doesn't give a fuck.
She doesn't
give a fuck.
It's like anyone comes in, like, fucking Disney comes to her, she'll be like, yo, you better give me $1 billion. Otherwise, it's just like, I already make $1 million a month. Like, what's the point, So, yeah, it's insane. But it's really cool, man. Like, in the same time, like, hats off to these guys. I mean, I saw her on, like, Jimmy Kimmel. And I was like, what?
Oh, I didn't even know she was on. But you see, for her, the people like that, I'm fucking happy because they're doing their own thing.
Yeah.
They didn't sell out. It's just them doing their own fucking, they don't give a shit.
It's funny because I watched a video she put on. And she was doing like a sarcastic thing where she's like, she puts effort in like funny videos, and she gets like 2 million views, and then she gets something like, I don't know, like kissing a guy, and it's got like 8 million views. She goes, what do you guys want to watch? Like, it was just so funny, and I was just like, it's so true. Or she's like, oh look, a squishy ball, and then she does a fake counter of like 2 million views, and she's like, are you serious? You gonna give me 2 million views from me squishing that little squishy ball? Like, it's messed up. Like, who are these people?
Who's what? I've thought of doing a test. I wanted to release some content, but the thumbnail put like half naked chicks.
It always works.
Just to see, and then just have a video of me talking about how there are no half naked chicks in this video.
Always works.
Because I think people fucking like they don't read anything. They don't like Pantelis.
Sheeps.
She just sees they see like Pantelis. That sounds like a beautiful girl.
Where is the girl? All the comments. Where's the girl?
You son of a bitch!
And in your whole video, you're just like, it's coming. It's coming.
Guys, wait. Don't forward ahead. Just wait. Don't stream. Oh, net neutrality.
Oh, man.
This is interesting. We need to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. Big
this
time.
affects us. But it affects us in a weird way because I was looking into it. Everybody was making it sound like this is the end of the world and there's no more internet as we know it. It's not the case, though.
No, it's not the case. It's more like the rich get richer.
Is it?
Yeah, because companies like the ISPs get to decide what you see.
Not what you. That's the other thing. I thought they were going to block certain sites, but what they're saying now, it gives them the ability to. So before, you were supposed to treat every bit of data the same way. It doesn't matter what the data, whether it's video, audio, it doesn't matter. So that was kind of to block them from throttling you if you're watching too many videos, things like that. But all this is going to do now, since they're allowed, is that all these different companies, these providers, are able to do what they did with cell phones and provide their own plans. It's like, oh shit, fucking Verizon is throttling you. Come to us, man. We got you. We're not going to throttle your shit.
Yeah.
So in theory, if you leave it to the market, then you should get better deals. However, as we've seen in Canada with cell phones, dude, if here they conspire, the big three, as they call it, they conspire together to keep prices up.
That's right.
They're like, don't go under this and we're all good. If they do the same thing now in the States, which they weren't doing for other stuff, but if they do it now, then they're fucked. That's the problem, is that it sounds good in theory, like, oh yeah, let them, and then we're going to get lower prices, better internet.
Nah.
But no, because all they're going to do is sit at a table together, be like, what's our limit? I don't know, $150 a month. Deal. We're not going lower than that.
But not only
then you're all fucked.
But not only that, like what they're going to do is also like, oh, you want access to Spotify? $5 a month. You want access to YouTube? $5. Like, it's crazy. I mean,
they're going to choose what you get to look at,
And that, for me, is kind of horrible, because the concept of internet was more like, everyone should have access to it. And who's trying to make more money? It's those rich corps that just want to keep making more and more and more and more. So in that sense, it's, what I said? Google and Amazon need to get together and be like, yo, fuck you guys. Because Google has the infrastructure.
Oh, of course.
And Amazon has Amazon TV or whatever it is. These guys go together, it's over. Like, they don't need ISPs. They don't need anything. They could just disrupt that whole market. And maybe they'll wake up and do something about it. But because Google started a long time ago in San Fran, like Wi-Fi.
Yeah, the fiber optics. They were the first to do the fiber optics thing. I remember that, but we never got it here. It didn't go to a lot of places.
You know why it didn't go here, right?
Because of Bell.
Yeah. Like no.
It's fucking. What's the same thing with Telus, right? Telus is only West Coast. They have internet services.
It's
in
mafia,
the West Coast. Man. Yeah, here they're like, no, this is the East. This is Bell territory.
Yeah,
the most garbage company. I think I've never had more customer service related issues with a company than I have with Bell. They'll randomly charge me for stuff, and then I have to call.
Yeah.
And first they try to make excuses until you break them down. They're like, yeah, I don't know why that's there.
I'll just give you credit.
Yeah, just remove it. It's $130. You thought I wasn't gonna notice? Like.
Yeah, I know they do a lot of that crazy things.
Yeah,
but yeah, hopefully, man, it doesn't come to that, because that will really hurt a lot of people.
Well, we're not affected here.
Not yet, but Canada's like, Canada always copycats, so they're gonna push the CRTC, be like, hey, let's do the same thing here, because CRTC was gonna push this thing for TV where, stop charging people for fucking packages. I don't watch these random channels like Canal
leave it open.
C or whatever. So they're like, just leave it open and let people choose a channel for like $1. So you can be like $2 to $1 and you choose whatever channel you want. But they're like, but then no one's gonna watch the other crappy channels. Well, no one watches the other crappy channels.
Yeah, like
go on YouTube.
We get them on a package, right? Because we have to get the channels we want through that package.
Yeah, you're always flipping right through them. Yeah. So it's like, what's the point?
I have all kinds of garbage channels. I haven't sat down and watched actual TV because of Netflix. In the longest time, I do it for, let's say, something that's live. And I want to watch, but it's very rare because it's the internet.
Yeah, I know. What do you think about the Netflix deal in Canada they did? Melanie Jolie that did that deal.
I don't know.
So basically, Netflix Canada, I think it was like a couple of millions or billions of dollars, allowed to operate in Canada without paying taxes.
Whoa!
But you, who's paying the subscription for the Netflix, have to pay taxes.
What?
Yeah.
So where do those taxes go?
Well, those taxes will go to the government.
Okay, so basically they're collecting taxes off the people that are subscribing.
Correct.
They're giving it right back to the government, but they themselves are not paying taxes on the profits they make.
Netflix is not paying any taxes. And it's been like, it's messed up. And the worst part is they didn't do any deal to kind of say, hey, if you're doing Netflix Canada, make sure you invest a certain amount of thing in Canadian content.
Yeah.
She completely forgot about that deal.
Who made this deal? What's
Melanie Jolie?
Who's she?
She's the cultural minister of
right now
Canada. Yeah,
that's terrible for our culture.
I know. It's horrible. It's horrible. I was just like, what the hell? Like,
I'd push Canadian content at least. Like, as the culture minister, you gotta be like, look, you have to have X amount of Canadian. Instead, you know, there's a lot of Bollywood films.
Oh yeah.
There's so much like D-list Indian movies. I don't even know if it's the A. I've slipped on like, what the fuck is this? Like, I look at it, I'm like, what?
Yeah, man. Well, you know, they release like 100, 200 movies a year, so it's insane. It's insane.
Who, Bollywood?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bollywood's fucking popping.
It's crazy. Well, that's it. If you get music into Bollywood, it's a big time for you.
Because if you could sell stuff, I think, in India for cheaper, as long as it goes mainstream, you're going to make so much more money because there's so many more people.
Exactly. Like a company wants to do a competition in Netflix, and it's literally going to cost people $4 a month.
$4 a month in India for that?
Yeah.
And it's the Netflix of India?
Yeah, you basically have unlimited access to all the Bollywood movies.
Are they going to call it Bollyflex or IndieFlex?
I don't know what they're going to call it yet, but I mean, I was just like, $4, man. They're like, yeah, it's going to undercut competition. But, you know, in one sense, I get it. But, you know, again, deals like that are crappy because, you know, there are some companies that want to invest in quality entertainment at $4 a pop a month. Like, what can you reinvest? You know, like Netflix, I don't mind paying $7 or $11 a month.
I pay the $15. I pay for all the HD.
Yeah, the HD $15. But you're like, you know, they do some quality production. And like, I don't mind paying $50 a month to get that quality show. So if you're doing $4, man, you're just going to kill everyone. Like the production people, the staff, the actors. It's like, that's the same thing that happens in the music industry. You know, they don't realize that. Like, you know, you went from 99 cents to now like $9 a month. But artists get like 0.0005 cents a play. So it's like, man, you know, like that song Happy from Pharrell, and I got $4,000 on publishing from like,
really?
God knows how many millions of views, millions of streams on Spotify.
You got how much? $4,000?
$4,000. And then the other song with Aloe Black there, I forget.
Pharrell, call me. I'll give you a way better deal.
I mean, he's got songwriters to pay too. So like, you know, like you got $4,000. What are you gonna split with a songwriter? Like, here's $2,000, and these guys live in LA. What's that gonna pay for you? Your Botox injection?
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah. What the fuck is $2,000 in LA? It's an expensive fucking city.
So I mean, that's the tough part about the industry.
God damn, that's horrible.
I know, man.
Everything, you know, like in the comedy scene, it's different because you depend a lot on live shows, right? You depend on going out there and getting paid for booking gigs, but also to get noticed, because so many comedians, you have to have that social kind of connection with people. You need to be out there. You need to constantly be putting up stuff so people don't forget about you.
Correct.
So it's weird because now it's mixed, right? Like you have this people who kind of make fun of the internet and we're against it, but we have to embrace it.
Yeah, you have to.
Because you need to connect. Because if people don't connect with you, forget about you, they're not going to come out to your shows.
Correct.
So you have to have that rapport. But in comedy, it's still different because you could still manage your own career. You could still decide how you're going to sell stuff.
Okay.
So Louis C.K., when he wasn't jerking off, he did something. He did something good when he was kind of publishing his stuff.
Yeah.
And he put, I remember, an album on his website. It was cost only $5
To buy?
to buy. $5 to buy, and you have it. It's yours. And he made all kinds of money. He was even surprised, I think, about the amount of money he made, because just thousands of people, let's say fucking 50,000 people want to watch it.
Yeah.
They're just like, fuck it, I'll just go there. Click $5, all goes to him.
Wow.
No middleman, right?
Yeah.
So after that, let's say he makes fucking $2 million off that shit. He pays the people who made the fucking video.
Yeah.
How much is that going to cost? Even if it costs you $20,000 to make it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, holy shit, now it's just me.
Yeah.
You don't, with the internet, you don't have to include all these middlemen, right?
No.
But that's in the comedy game because you're the writer, you're the star, you control most of the production.
Yeah, for sure.
In the music game, unless you're gonna fucking feature on yourself, edit everything yourself, do all, like, it's so much overhead.
There's a lot
And
of
then
components.
marketing too.
There's way more components in the music business. But yeah, I mean, but the other tough part that what you're just talking about is that, I mean, Louis C.K. in the same time also has a good pull.
Yeah.
So he can kind of do that. But if
He's gonna be back, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure. Everyone
Soon.
takes a break and then.
No, but also it wasn't like he didn't. Him, it was just like, it seemed like it was just a fetish. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't.
Yeah, he
like,
said he masturbating like a lot of times, and you're like,
in
yo,
front
if
of
someone can
people.
find out what's wrong with this guy.
Yeah, but he used to say in his jokes too. But he jerked off in front of a lot of, like, he didn't. He did stuff that was very unprofessional.
Yeah.
Right. But he didn't rape any. He wasn't like all blacklisted from everywhere. I think a little bit of time off and he's gonna be back just because of that. If it was a rape, if it was like a Cosby situation.
Oh yeah.
You don't come back from that because. That's
Look at Cosby though. He must be like, yo, I don't look so bad right now.
But the thing is, fucking Louis C.K. didn't rape anybody.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
Cosby fucking drug people. Like,
Oh, yeah,
that's
that's
premeditated. Like, that's
Yeah,
you got to think about that. That's
That's
fucked
true.
up.
That's
There's
true.
some evil in there, you know?
Yeah.
From what it sounds like to me, at least, C.K. just seems like he had that fetish, which was to jerk off in front of people. It's just that when you're somebody's boss, because the only story there that really bugged me was the one where there was a writer, he was on set, and he was in charge there, and he brought her into his office, and he asked her to jerk off in front of her, because she said yes at the time, but it's your boss in an industry where it's so hard to move ahead.
Yeah.
You don't want to ruin it. You put her in a fucked up position. That's the only part I'm like, come on, man, what the fuck are you doing?
I know.
But the rest just sound. He invited people to his hotel room, like in the middle of the night. Why are you gonna go to his hotel room? And when he asks you, "Can I jerk off?" You laugh and you're like, "Yeah, sure." And then you're like, "Oh, but I didn't really mean sure." Like, there, I give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, you got a fetish, and they let you do it. But the other stuff, it was just unprofessional. But he didn't do anything criminal to to blacklist him from everywhere. So I think he's gonna be back. You know?
Yeah, that's possible. But coming back to the thing, like even if you're an upcoming artist or upcoming comedian, it will still be harder for like trying to just put out your own stuff there. You need platforms to kind of help push you guys out, and that's the thing. Like, everyone is on YouTube, and that's the thing. Like, even though YouTube too now is like, oh well, we're gonna decide how much we pay you.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is YouTube is like, if I had done what I'm doing now 3-4 years ago, I could have made some bank.
Yep.
Oh man, I came to the fucking party late because they are demonetizing like rampantly.
Yeah,
they're like, nope, I don't pay you.
I know.
You.
Or I'll pay you these many pennies.
It's absurd.
Yeah,
It's like, just share. Come on, YouTube, don't be like that. Just share with us.
I know. I mean, unfortunately, that's what it is. Like even guys like Tidal can't even survive.
Well, look, Tidal was stupid.
Yeah.
Jay-Z got really over. Like, what you want to make already exists. Like, whenever you remember back in the day, fucking marketing and shit like that. Whenever somebody would come to you and say something like, "Yeah, I want to make the next YouTube or the next Facebook," you're like, "This guy's a fucking asshole."
Yeah.
Because if you want to do something, you don't make the next something. You make the first anything.
Exactly.
The second I hear somebody say, "I'm gonna make the next," I'm like, "Oh, fuck it." Same with comedians. They come like, "Yo, I'm the next, George Carlin." I'm like, "Oh yeah, this guy's garbage. Watch this. Let me see him." And he goes up. I'm like, "Yeah, he's just doing a Carlin impression. That's all he's doing." You could tell if anybody wants to be the next. No, you just be you. Same thing when you're creating something,
Correct.
right? You want to create listen. Like Twitter. Twitter wasn't Facebook. Twitter's different than Facebook, right? They didn't say, "Let's be the next Facebook."
Correct.
Like, yo, what if it's just text-based? What if you're just tweeting and your celebrities, you're in direct contact? You could just fucking talk to them, you know? And it was a different concept than connecting with your family and your friends and sharing photos. That's why it worked. That's why it got people to sign it. All these copycats of Facebook that came out around that time didn't survive because people are like, well, this is the same fucking thing. I don't want to be on this garbage platform. Do you remember there was so many different ones? And I'm not talking about before. I'm talking about MySpace because MySpace then it evolved, and I think it's still around.
Yeah, I get emails from them like, okay.
How do you survive? Who's on MySpace?
Advertising, man, advertising.
But who's on MySpace?
I don't know.
Who doesn't know that Facebook exists? But they know that MySpace exists.
Yeah.
Like, did they lose? I don't understand. Did they lose internet connectivity at some point for like 10 years?
They have net neutrality.
Yeah. Then they came back and they never went to any other website. They never heard of Google. They just have one site they go to. Like, they're using
like
AOL.
Yahoo.
Yeah. Who goes to Yahoo for their news?
Oh man, Yahoo with that busy page and traffic and news and weather and you're like. Oh,
I
man.
guarantee you, all of Yahoo's money is coming from those fantasy sports leagues. They had the best system.
That's true.
They had the best system to create your own league, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my news from fucking Yahoo.
Yeah, no, man.
Or Bing. Who uses Bing? Serial killers use Bing. Like, who uses Bing?
I don't know, man.
They'll never find me. Bing. What the fuck, bro?
Just the name though, too.
If you search for me on Bing and you don't find me, it'll be the happiest day of my life. What the fuck is Bing? Jesus. But yeah, the game's changing, man. I don't. You get into any of these new rappers?
Yeah, I mean, listen, being in the industry, like, you have to be open to what's coming out. I'm not a huge fan of it all, but in the same time, you're just like, okay, this is the new trend. This is what's happening. But, some artists, I don't know. Like, personally, I'm not feeling it. Like, I just don't vibe with it. But it's crazy because, like, sometimes I go to clubs and I'm just like, wow, are you serious? Like, this is, like, tearing down the whole club.
But they don't know any better. That's what I'm trying to learn to accept now. Is that there's a whole generation of kids that didn't grow up the way I grew up. They didn't grow up with the same things in the mainstream popular, like when we were growing up. So to them, this is all they have no basis for comparison, right?
That's
so if we're comparing the lyrics of a Tupac, for example, to the lyrics of some kids now, you're like, oh my god, this kid is retarded, right?
Yeah.
Like, dig it, baby, pussy squad. Like, what the fuck is he saying, right?
Yeah.
But they have no basis, so all they know is pussy squad, and like, this is so much fun. He said pussy and squad, but in the same fucking sentence. This is great, right? They don't know any better.
But it's crazy. I mean, they do have access to it. It's funny. Like, any new kid's gonna know Big or Tupac
by name.
By name, possibly. And then you listen to the lyrics and stuff. They're like, yeah, it's cool. But a lot of artists.
He ain't talking about blinging and hoes.
He's not.
What's going on? Like, what?
I think it's just because coming back somewhat to the same thing we were talking about is like, always being a winner, always being like, they have sometimes they don't always have a lot of negative impact on them. So like, when you grew up, you listen to some of that struggle. You're trying to, some people had need to relate to that. I'm not saying that some of the new artists don't have that, but it's just like
some do. But you know what I think happened is people who used to make music, right? Kind of your boat, were the entrepreneurs or the fighters, were the drug dealers.
Yeah.
And now the people who are making music are the drug users, are the people that were being sold, right?
Yeah,
They're the people who
you're
just
right.
couldn't cut it. That's what it is. And that's why it's wacky.
Yeah.
And you don't have that same presence in the lyrics where you feel them. You're like, oh, fuck yeah, this is going to motivate me because this guy's going through something and he wants to make it. Now it's not like that.
No.
Now it's like, let's get high, eat some pussy, and it's just fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You're
It's
right.
Drug dealer to the drug user.
That's true. I never thought of it that way. But yeah, it's so true. But I mean, for me, man, I don't know. Like, I still like sometimes rewind to the old school stuff. I mean,
Me too.
It just brings you back and you're like, oh yeah, that's wicked. But new generation is what the new generation is. Some guys are good, but some guys are just like in and out. That's really what it is. It's just like the quick money, the quick fame. Just get out.
Hey, if they take it and they reinvest it and they make something of themselves, good for them.
Not many of them.
No, no, they just fuck around. They pull an MC Hammer, just lose everything.
Yeah, and do commercials of Command Hook.
Last fucking thing.
Yeah.
Did you see the new Tupac movie when it came out?
Not yet, man.
You're not gonna like it,
No, I heard it wasn't so good.
bro. The only thing they did is the casting of Tupac. I kept being confused. I was like, yo,
yeah.
man, they cast this kid fucking
Yeah,
properly,
that's
right?
true.
That's all they did right. The story is bad. There's a lot of cheesy moments. They changed a lot of shit that doesn't make sense. I heard that there was a scene in the movie that they had to cut, like they didn't want to do, but the director was like really for it. It was a scene where Tupac would get raped in prison.
What?
I was like, geez, man, this guy had some personal beef with Tupac. Like, why would you, I never heard of that ever happening. So why would you make that shit up, And it just wasn't it didn't, like, every time you thought it was going to go somewhere, they'd be like, oh, this is just low budget shit. Like, it was just cheesy. It wasn't, and it was bad because he's one of the most important cultural icons, especially when it comes to hip hop and music and that whole scene in the late 90s. And they did him the most disrespect you could think of. The most disrespect. It was not a good movie. He deserved a much better film, right, about his life. He didn't get that respect.
Oh, man. Okay.
That's what sucks.
Yeah.
But I still watched it. I left upset, right? There was goofy kids in there who don't really know Tupac who were like, that was so good, man. That was Tupac Shakur. Tupac. I was like, fucking stupid white kids with their hoodies on now. Idiots.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
Man, it's not good. Bitcoin, you got on that?
Not yet, man. I don't know. Like, for me, I just find it's a little bit of a bubble. I like the technology, but, I mean, I just don't. I don't know. For me, it's a little too volatile right now.
It is. We fucked up, you and I, because had we actually had the balls to
Could buy a
invest
yacht
months
today.
ago, we would have been buying a yacht. I told you the story before we went on air.
Yeah.
I didn't know what Bitcoin when I was fucking around. My buddy Viron was here, and he's like, let me show you how it works. And he sent me the equivalent of 40 cents US to my Bitcoin wallet, right?
Yeah.
And today, it's worth $11.
So how do you sell that?
He told me that there's Bitcoin ATMs that I could go to, and I scan it, and I'll take out the money. I'm not going to go take out $11, so I don't care.
Yeah.
But if I had more money, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I can only use it in the dark web. Maybe I can only use it to assassinate people.
Exactly.
Who the fuck knows?
That's the thing. So imagine like now everyone's inflated to like what? I think it's what at 14,000 or something, 1,400 or something.
Motherfucker. Let's see how much it's worth right now. Let's see how much
maybe you're up at $15.
Let's see how much my 14 cents is worth. Or my 40 cents rather is worth today. Today it is worth $12.01 US. What is that? Is insane. I could have put $100. God damn it.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
What if somebody wants to pull out that 14,000? Won't it like crash the whole
Economy?
value? Yeah, like
I don't know how it works because him, for example, apart from this, he mostly invests in it like on the stock exchange.
okay,
He
yeah,
invests in the cryptocurrency. This is a rare case where he actually gives me bits of Bitcoin.
Call him up and you can use some more bits.
Yeah, he's not going to give me now because
But talking about that, like you heard about Venezuela, right? Venezuela is basically all shifting over to Bitcoin.
well, they have to do something because what they're doing now isn't working.
So supposedly their currency is like tanking.
It's terrible.
And they're already starting to pay for groceries, wages, and exchange goods on Bitcoin. And it's
shit.
crazy. So,
But how
that's-
are they like creating their own cryptocurrency?
no, they're using Bitcoins because the concept of Bitcoin, like you know, is it's decentralized. So there's no middleman, there's no Federal Reserve. They don't change the rates. It's everyone owns the pot.
Yeah.
So everyone knows what's going on. You know what transactions are happening. You don't know who it is, but you just know the transactions are happening. So that's kind of what like somebody had told me like, oh well, if the governments collapse. I mean, I don't know if that's ever gonna happen in North America, but in some other parts of the world, possible. But I mean, in the same time, are you gonna put trust in a bunch of people around the world? So that's where I was just like kind of.
I have a distrust for the government already.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't trust them. But here's the other thing is that why? Yeah, you're right. But what would the government this was crazy about us. Like we all talk about the government needs to make these decisions. The government is not there. We've allowed them to police us, to be scared of them. It should be the opposite. They're working for us. The police,
I know.
the government should be scared of us. But they've switched. They've turned the tables on us.
They're brainwashed us.
Yeah, and we're like, oh, they're in charge. Yeah, fuck them. They're not supposed to be in charge.
Yeah.
They're supposed to go there to do a job that we sent them to do.
Correct.
Same thing with the net neutrality. I don't even know why it was ever even discussed. If the population voted and said, get the fuck out of here, we don't want you to take away net neutrality, that's all that should have happened. You can't go like, no, the 12 of us are going to vote and we're going to decide for 250 million people. That's absurd to me. And yet nobody's revolting. You should, though. They're not going with the will of the people.
Yeah.
And that's undemocratic, and that's just, it's not right.
No, but I mean, the concept of like, oh, you voted for this person, that's what they're saying. Like, you're giving me you're allowing me to do things for you. But and the other end, they're turning their backs and be like, yo, we're just gonna all get together and be rich, based on your vote. So it's kind of, it's shitty. A lot of people are revolting about net neutrality, but it almost feels like, that's the other part about these revolts. Honestly, to tell you the truth, they need to be civil wars because, I think about it. Like sometimes, man, if I rewind back in time, like if like shit like this happened in India or any, man,
or Greece, they go fucking crazy. Yeah,
they'll just fucking go on the streets and like start bashing up the embassies and stuff like that. I know it's not the right way.
But here they do nothing.
They do not. You got a bunch of people like with big walkie-talkies and things. You're like, okay, cool, thank you, clap. Okay, have a nice day. Yeah. It doesn't do an impact, like, because you're trying to be as what do you call it, non-violent or whatever it is, but it's just like, okay, you did your job. And then we're going to keep doing it, and that's about it,
I agree with you. I don't think you have to be violent. There are ways, like, same thing when people want to boycott or protest. Like, if you're really, like, let's say right now with the vote to have, it wasn't a vote, rather, but they decided to move the embassy of the States to Jerusalem, right? Okay, let's say you're against that and you're against Israel or whatever. Instead of fucking, I don't know, protesting, and what you could do is just boycott. So, like, you know what? I'm going to do my research. If it's a U.S.-made good or if it's an Israeli or whatever, I don't want to buy it. If that's what you believe in, right? Yeah. Then in your own way, if you and everybody else, then that would force change because people, that's how the economy works, right? So people need to sell shit. So the U.S. Around the world or
But that's
Israel,
hard, though. If you think about it, it's hard. Like,
but that's
a
U.S.-made
product.
But that's what I was about to tell you. It's very hard. But if you really want to stick to your guns and you believe in what you're saying, because don't say on one hand, it's like the people that go out there and they're like, oh, you know what? Fuck the U.S., while they're wearing Nike and while they have new Jordans. And are you fucking crazy? Like, do you hear what you're saying? Like, are you against the U.S. or are you against a specific person?
Correct.
If you're against a specific person, then make it known that that's where you stand. You're against this or this thing they said. But don't say you're against the entire country, because if you really are, then boycott the country and let's see how that goes, right?
Yeah.
If you really are. Like, if I was so hell-bent against a country, right? I hate individuals, me. It's not the country. It's not the race. It's the individuals. If somebody's being a cocksucker, I'm going to hate
Donald
that guy.
Trump.
In this case, that person I'll have a beef with. But the whole fucking country, that's absurd. Yeah. So, if you really believe in it, boycott, and let's see if that country has affected you positively or not. And more often than not, you're going to notice, oh, shit, they had a very positive impact on me. I was doing this because of them. I was doing that. It's like right now, me, I get mad at you. And like, you know what? I'm boycotting all of India. Yeah. Yo, I learned how to video edit because of Indians. Do I not do that anymore? Yeah. I'm not allowed to go eat in my neighborhood anymore? Like,
that's true.
Where do you draw the line? Don't do that.
Yeah.
Focus your energy, because if you would focus, you could actually make a difference, right? If you would focus, like, let's say Trump, for example, if people really gave a shit and they were mad at him or whatever, imagine if nobody would go to any of his businesses.
Oh yeah. I think people are like some,
but
people,
very few, because other people are like, they take pictures. I'm in Trump hotel. I hate him, but I'm in his hotel. Such a great hotel.
It's for the likes, man.
Yeah, that's how, if you really gave a shit, and I'm not telling you to do that. I'm not telling people you should make your own decisions. Don't follow me. I'm a comedian. What do I know? All I'm saying is stick to your guns at least. Stick to your guns. That's all I'm saying. If you don't believe in something, don't do it.
Yeah, I think that's a generation thing though, because it's very tough. Our generation is a lot of, or the new generation is a lot about following. It's just following whatever it is. Like when we had the strike about education, about those kids in Quebec, you're paying like nothing for education, and then it's like, well, what are you protesting against? I don't know. Like that's even worse. But I mean, go outside of Quebec and try to find quality or at least affordable education. You can. And it's crazy when I always think about it today, and I'm like, how does it even make sense in, like, for example, in the States, that you cannot get education? It's going to cost you like $30,000 or 40 or 50. I'm like, that's insane. Education is so important for people. Yeah. That's why, like, you have people that can't get jobs or whatever it is. And then you come here to Quebec, maybe it's $2,000. Okay,
that's nothing.
You work at Starbucks.
Yeah, for an education, you pay that off. I had that. I did a segment for the podcast back in the day, and I was asking people, what are they protesting, right? And somebody's arguing with me, and I was shocked. I'm like, dude, it's only going up by a couple $100. Like, it's not a big deal. You could make that in a weekend. Like, it's correct. This is not for a tuition. This is nothing. And then he's like, yeah, well, that's not fair, because what about places like Nigeria? They don't pay for school. I was like, motherfucker, you want to go get educated in Nigeria? Be my guest.
Yeah.
That's your comparison? Yeah. Okay, how about you compare it to a modernized country. How about compare it to the States? How about you compare those fucking prices?
Exactly.
You
Yeah, I know.
doofus.
It's crazy. And then what they don't realize is that, fine, you want it for free, you're gonna pay more taxes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
And
it's
we're already
crazy.
getting gutted here for taxes. Like people
man.
don't. Nothing is actually free. Nothing. Saying you want schools to be free. I'm not saying they shouldn't or they should. Understand that we're going to pay for it in some other way. It's not
Exactly.
magic. People think these kids now think that you just create the money.
Yeah.
They're like, we'll just dump some money in there. What are you talking about?
Use Bitcoin.
Yeah, Trudeau is trying that system of the budget balance itself. It's not working.
It's not balancing.
It's not balancing at all. It's very off balance. Very off balance. He doesn't know what's going on.
It might tip over.
You know, it's like I feel like he's like in a tunnel and he's dizzy. He's just like, whoa, what do these wacky numbers mean? You know?
Yeah. This guy, man.
He's a joke.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
Anyways, Vish,
Yes.
thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
What are you gonna plug? Where are they gonna find you?
Well, you could check us out on Facebook. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we got the Bilz Kashif is there. You got Massa D online. Hit me up on Twitter if you want to.
All
At Twitter.
these things are in the description.
That's
you
right,
just
so-
click. He's a link away.
Twitter on Bilz Music. Instagram me if you want. But yeah, man, it was fun, man. It was fun talking to you about a bunch of things: music, comedy, the world, Bitcoin.
Well, we haven't hung out in a while. That's why we had that.
Yeah,
we were doing our own.
So
thing.
random. So random.
That's why, because I was thinking about it. I was like, motherfucker, I haven't seen the Vicious in a while. Let's see if he wants to come over for a fucking podcast.
Yeah.
And look at you right away. You're like, yeah, whatever. I got nothing.
Yeah. Oh my god, fuck it. Let's go.
This was zero planning.
Yeah.
But Vish,
It's the
thanks for
best part.
coming on. Follow Vicious. He's fun on Twitter. His Instagram account is very good. Actually, posts some cool shit because he's a fucking international musician. So he goes and takes cool pictures. So yeah, thank you guys
Cool,
for listening.
man. Thanks.